Why LeBron James should be the player coach of the Lakers. I'm Tony. Welcome back to Streetball Strategies.
You put it in captions, any man can get hurt. I'm ready for action, I was born for this moment. I will not be denied, in the name of my tribe, I fight for the pride.
Today we're talking about why I think LeBron James should just go ahead and be the player coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Just right up front, this video is just for fun. It's just meant to be a fun thought experiment, and it's just my opinion. So if you completely, totally disagree with me, that's perfectly fine with me. Just let us know down in the comments. As I record this, it's May of 2024. We're in the NBA playoffs. The Lakers lost to the Denver Nuggets again this year. They fired Darvin Ham as their head coach, and so now they're looking for yet another head coach. And really, since the Lakers fired Frank Vogel after like a year and a half of them winning their last championship, I've been thinking about, why doesn't LeBron James just become the player coach? And I've heard that argument from other, sources in the media since then, especially since they fired Darvin Ham. So I figured, let's talk about why LeBron James shouldn't just go ahead and become the Lakers' next player coach. Also, right up front, I want to be clear that I don't expect this to happen, right? LeBron James is not going to be the player head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. They're not going to offer it to him, and even if they did, he's not going to take it. He probably doesn't want that pressure. So no, I don't expect him to be the player coach of the Lakers, but let's talk about the possible good and upsides if he were to become the player coach of the Lakers. First of all, he's just at the great age to do this, right? He's in his late 30s, he's about 40 years old. Any other time in his career probably wouldn't be a right time for him to be a player coach. And we don't know what he's gonna do post being a player, right? We have heard that he does want to own an NBA team one day. In my opinion, if he were to become a coach before he owns a team, it would be great experience for him leading into that, owner position at some point. Not only that, but to be a player coach, which as far as I know hasn't been done since Mr. Russell in the 70s with the Celtics. That's experience that he would only have himself. No other player would have that experience. No other owner would have that experience. He'd be the only one. So if he does go on to own a basketball team at some point, he would have that knowledge as an owner of what is, really appropriate for the kind of coach that he's looking for the team that he owns, because he has at least some kind of coaching experience being the player coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, leading him to be able to be a better owner in the future. Now, a lot of critics and probably naysayers would say LeBron should never consider, especially being a player coach, because he can only fail. If he does anything as a player coach below getting to like the conference finals as the player coach, then that's going to be considered a failure, and it's going to take a hit to his legacy. I don't disagree that anything less than conference finals would hurt his legacy as a player, but I think the upside is much greater for him. So if he were to succeed, if he were to get to the conference finals or the NBA finals as the player coach, I think that would help his case in terms of elevating his legacy more than it would hurt his case if he were to do less than that. Even if especially if he won a championship as a player coach, that would only help to elevate him. I don't think it would put him above Jordan on my list if he were to do that, but it would be a huge boost to his legacy to me if that were to happen. As opposed to if he were the player coach and they got bounced out of the playoffs in the first round, or maybe they don't even make the playoffs, I don't really think that's going to hurt him for me. It's not really going to take him down lower. So to me, him being the player coach, especially of the vaunted Los Angeles Lakers, could only serve to add and help his legacy. And finally, if there's any player in modern NBA history, meaning since like Larry and Magic, if there's any player since then that could have gone on to be a player coach, especially for a franchise like the Los Angeles Lakers, it's LeBron James. I can't think of a better player to go on to be a player coach, especially at this stage of his career, than LeBron James. It seems that that would fit him so well for his career and how intelligent we revere him as being a basketball player. Why not try to do something that nobody's done in 50 years, be the first player in modern NBA history to go on to do this? If you fail, you fail. But if you have, if you get deep into the playoffs as a player coach, then you've done something that maybe no other player will do for decades to come in the NBA. So now that we've gone over all the upsides of what might happen if LeBron were to be the player coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, now let's get a little bit more critical of this whole situation. When the topic of LeBron James comes up, one of the main things that also comes up is comparison. Comparison to the other great players of modern day NBA. And when we're talking about greatness and we're talking about relating that to sort of the coaching situation that help players become great, the way I think about it is if we go back to Magic and Larry, right? They have very similar situations when it comes to coaching and their greatness. Meaning, Magic had multiple coaches, right? He has 5 championships, but they're all with the same team. Larry is very similar. I think Larry has 4 championships, but he also has multiple coaches, but he did win all those championships with one single team. When we get to the likes of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, you have another similar situation, which is they also had multiple coaches, but they won all their championships with a single team, but they had Phil Jackson. So with those 4 players, you usually consider their greatness to be part and parcel of, okay, they played in this team with this coach in this system, and because of that system was great. It allowed them to be great players, and they were allowed to have championships, multiple championships with the same team because of that. And then when we get to LeBron James, it's kind of the opposite, because LeBron James has had multiple coaches, way more coaches than the other players, and he's playing on multiple teams. And when he got to LA at the end of his career, he won a championship, but they've had multiple coaches since then. And LeBron fans will make the argument that because he did all that, because he went to numerous places and won numerous championships with numerous teams and numerous coaches, that can only help to serve his legacy and make him better because of it. And I don't disagree with that. I see the complete logic in that. It does make sense. But it just happens to go against what is traditional in the NBA, which is like you have a coach, you have a superstar, you have that system, and you win championships within that established system. That's certainly not a bad thing when it comes to LeBron James. It's just different. You could make the arguments one way or another, one's better than the other. I'm not here to do that. I don't really care one way or the other. I personally prefer the traditional route of having a coach, a superstar, and a system, and earning and using that system to win championships. But I'm just kind of an old school guy like that. But I'm not against the new school way that LeBron has been trying to do it. The only thing that I'm against is, since he's been in LA, they won their championship with Frank Vogel, and then a year and a half later, Frank Vogel is fired as the coach. And since then, there have been multiple head coaches of the LA Lakers, but no more championships. And in like the last 20 years in the NBA, when you have a superstar who is trying to win championships as their career wanes, they've been trying to, ring chase, going from team to team, kind of being a mercenary on different teams, trying to win as many championships as they can before they retire. I don't really look at LeBron James' career as doing that. The fact that he went back to Cleveland and won that championship with the Cavaliers is amazing. I don't look at that as ring chasing at all. The weird thing is, like, what LeBron's doing with the Lakers is almost kind of like the opposite of that, which is he's staying in one place, but they're like headhunting coaches trying to bring in that coach who will get LeBron his next championship. So instead of LeBron James leaving and leapfrogging team to team to try to get a championship, he's staying with the Lakers, but they're headhunting coaches. I think it'd be worse if he was, ring chasing, going from team to team at the end of his career, but it's almost as bad to me that he's, responsible essentially for coaches coming and going, and if they don't, give him rings immediately, then they get fired and have to leave, and then you start that whole the coaching process all over again. And since LeBron's been in LA, the message that I've gotten from him, from his personality that he's put out to the public in terms of coaching, is like, he's never going to be happy. It doesn't matter who his coach is. He's never going to really be happy unless and until, like, he definitively just easily wins championships every single year. And I don't fault him whatsoever for trying to be competitive and trying to win championships. I definitely admire that effort and that ambition. It's just not realistic. The tried and true old school system is you get a coach, he has a system, you bring in players to play within that system, you work on that system, you refine it over time, and then you get the right superstars and you begin winning championships because of that coach and his system. That's exactly kind of the opposite of what they've been doing on the Lakers. Not that that's the only way you can win championships, but in NBA history, 76, 77 years at this point, the proven track record is like that's how dynasty teams win championships. There might be some new kind of innovative way going forward that it happens, but to this point, that's how it's been done. I admire LeBron if he's like actively trying to like change that culture, but it is unlikely that he's going to be able to do it. And so far, if that's what he's been trying to do, he has failed. It appears that in terms of coaching, no matter who they bring in to coach the Lakers, LeBron's never going to be happy. He's never going to be satisfied. They could bring in Red Auerbach. They could bring in Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, Greg Popovich, Jerry Sloan, you name it. They could bring in whatever coach in that coach's prime, and LeBron James is never going to be happy and or satisfied unless and until he just wins championships easily every year. And so to me, since LeBron's never going to be happy with any coach anyway, why not just let LeBron be the coach? Let him be the player coach, since he's never going to be happy. Like, he's not going to be happy with any other coach, like external coach. Then let him be the coach, since he's going to be upset at the end of the season anyway, despite what happens, unless and until they get to at least the conference finals. So just let LeBron do it. If I'm the Lakers, if I'm Jeannie Buss, I say, hey LeBron, since you're not ever going to be happy anyway, why don't you do it and put it out there publicly? We publicly offer the head coaching, player coach job to LeBron James and make him publicly turn it down, which he will. That way Jeannie Buss can say, well, we let LeBron do it, we offered it to him, he turned us down. And then when they bring in whoever they bring in to coach next time, and LeBron James is instantly unhappy with that coach as well, and they have to fire the next coach, they can go, well, we tried to let LeBron do it, and he didn't want to. So we brought in this coach, and he still wasn't happy, so now we have to get another coach again. And the problem is there is no magical head coach for LeBron at this point in his career on the Los Angeles Lakers. There is no coach that is just gonna magically give him what he wants and make him happy. Even if the Lakers brought in, which they can't bring in Ty Lue because he's under contract, but if they could magically bring in Ty Lue and make him the head coach since he's LeBron's bestie, let him lose, let him be, first round exits in the playoffs 2 years in a row and see how long Ty Lue lasts on the Lakers. I get it. LeBron's at the end of his career. It's coming very soon. He's trying to get the best coach to win as many championships as he can before he leaves. The problem is that LeBron, he's not in a situation where like there's just this, magical coach that'll come in and immediately give him the kind of success he's looking for. What he should have done from the very beginning, because he had the power when he first came to the Lakers, like, I'm LeBron James, I should get to choose who my coach is. Okay, well, you come into the Lakers, choose that coach and let him build his system, but he didn't do that. He chose to go the opposite route, which is headhunting, trying to bring in like mercenary coaches every 2 years to get him championships, and it just hasn't worked. So if that's not working, if that experiment didn't work, then just let LeBron be the player coach. That's why I think LeBron James should be the player coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. For one, I think it could only really help LeBron's career. I think there's much more upside than downside. Second of all, why not? Like, at this point, you're 20 plus years in the NBA, you've done everything. Why not give this a shot as well? You had the chance to stay in Miami with Spoelstra and Riley and let them build that coaching culture and have that system built around you so you could win even more championships in Miami and have a dynasty in Miami, and you chose not to do that. And that's perfectly fine. You had your reasons. You moved on to LA. You tried the coaching culture your way, and it hasn't worked. having mercenary headhunting coaches coming in and going out every couple years. So now it's your turn, LeBron. Why don't you try it? Make NBA history once again. Be the player coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, if you found it helpful or insightful, then that's great. Thank you, and please subscribe to the channel. Let us know about your thoughts of LeBron James being a player coach in the NBA. What do you think he should do? Do you think he would do well as a player coach? I think he would. I think it would be enjoyable and interesting to watch him as a player coach. Let us know down in the comments, but before you comment, make sure you hit that thanks button down below, because not only will that thanks button highlight your comment and make it stand out from everyone else's, but when you hit that thanks button, it also directly supports the channel. So for anyone that does hit that thanks button, know I genuinely appreciate it. As always, like, share, comment, like I said. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever any video goes live on this channel. And until then, see you guys next week.
Ain't no turning back now. It's only up from here. It's levels to the top. Now I'm top tier. Everything is what you make it. Gotta see the vision clear. This the comeback story of the year.